Hi, I'm Chris and I've put together a video to show you how to assemble my trimless PDF sewing patterns using either A4 or US letter size paper. If you were to print the pattern out and not select either the A4 page guidelines or the US letter guidelines, you'll actually end up with two different guidelines that will print on the patterns. One will be a dash line. The dash line is for A4 size paper, and the one next to it is a solid line, and that's for US size paper. But please be sure to use the guideline for the size paper that you're using. So if you were to select just the US letter size paper in the layers section of the Adobe Reader, you should just have the solid lines that run down the side of the page and one that runs down the bottom of the page. So I'll show you how now to actually join the pages together so that you get them lining up properly with the guidelines. So I'll just start with page 1, page 2 and page 3. The pattern layout may be different depending on the size pattern that you use, but lining up the pages to each other is exactly the same. So what you would first of all do is join page 2, pattern page 2 to pattern page 1, lining up the pages against, butting them up against the US guideline. Now for me, if I was to do that using the US guidelines on the paper I'm using, which is A4 size paper, my pattern pieces won't actually line up properly once I've joined them all together. So I'm going to show you how to do it using my A4 size paper. So first off, getting page 1 and page 2 and page 3. So with the edge of my paper on page 2, I'm going to line up that edge against the guideline on page 1. So there you can see I've butted it up right up against that dash line. This dash line lines up here, so now I'll tape those pages together. That one and that one there. Little tip as well, wherever you've got an edge of a pattern piece, make sure you've got some tape going over that cut edge, just so that your pattern then won't flip around like this bit here is. There's no need to tape there because there's no actual pattern printed there. So now what I do is join page 3 to page 2. So again there, I line up that edge with my guideline and the bottom edge with the guideline. And my page edges should line up quite neatly. So again there, I'll join those pages. Okay, so that's that row done. So now for the next row, all I need to do, I can continue on joining my pages row by row, or I can, if I want, just join the pages individually as I go along. With this particular pattern, it's got the pocket, so I would go along and join page 4 on the edge of there. I won't do that on this one because it's just sitting by itself, the pocket over that edge. So now I've got page 5 again there, lining up using my guidelines. So the guideline I've got at the top edge of my page needs to marry up with the guideline on the bottom edge of this page. So I line my pages up. You can see the edge of my pages is running neatly. This guideline on the side of the page is running along there. The guideline at the top is continuing to run along there. So now I just need to join that one together. And just tape that one down. So now I can go along with page 6, this one, going there, joining up the side, butting the page up to the guideline. The line at the top of the page is lined up with the guidelines along the bottom, so I've got a nice straight line there, and I've got a straight line running down there. Again there, just need to tape that together. Taping down the bottom, and then I'll go along and I'll do the same thing again with page number 7. Lining up, butting up the page to my guideline on the side, lining up the top edge of the page, and all looks pretty good. Sometimes you just got to like do a little tweaking, making sure that everything sits nice and flat and all lined up. Join that one, and again there, join the bottom of the page. And I'll just keep continuing on, either row by row or each page individually. If you see here, you'll have a little section there where there's no print at the edge of the page, but you can see that the pattern piece continues to flow on through there. What you can do, if you don't want to have the little gaps, is you can just grab a pen and you can see the shadow of the pattern piece underneath. You can just join those together, just like that. Same on the other side here, there's a little gap, and I'll just join that together. So it depends on how fussy you want to be, but for those little sections there, as you're cutting along, you just keep following the guidelines around the cutting lines around the outside of your pattern. I hope you found that helpful, and if you have any questions at all regarding any of my patterns, please feel free to either leave a comment below or you can contact me on my website at chrislucas.com.au.